As the year goes on, I get closer and closer.
So to learn new skills and to build new acumen.
We can always touch. It's not.
When you get that, then you get a lot more excited about being around children.
Normal, in a sense, with all of the changes, of course.
Or how you can transform your own business.
On developing the whole child, socially, emotionally.
Traditional route of teaching young people
how to set boundaries, because this little victim here needs to know how to
do very well, so they use that term.
Sometimes expanded them to go up to 40 minutes.
All of those things in education, of course, those things are important.
Student is going to our heads and our lungs.
The affirmations in the mirror for about 2 minutes.
What did you do in order to get yourself going?
This is amazing.
It happens, what seems to happen quite a bit in our school.
For the families to come, and they
is that really for the child, or is it for us, for the parent?
And doing new things for our brain.
Who's orchestrating everything in this universe?
Which parts of the brain are used?
Based on that map that we have.
See you with your smiling face.
Atul, thank you very much for allowing me to join you. Namaste to you, my friends.
Hello, hi, hello and welcome. Thank you everyone who has joined us from different parts of the world to our Early Childhood Global Spotlight Talk. My name is Atul and I'm a proud member and co-founder of this wonderful community. Also the founder of one of the preschool chains in the name of WOWkids. We have close to 200 centers now, which are spread across 20 states of our country. For those who are new to the show, the purpose and intent of this show is to understand and explore the most important time in the child's early years of growth, especially from birth to 6 years of age. We invite experts on different subjects from across the globe related to early childhood and have them share their experiences and knowledge with our community. So if you have any question during the show, please feel free to leave a comment and we would be happy to take them up during the show. Okay, so let's get started. So today we have a very special guest, Laura Wheeler-Nitzer. Hi, Laura.
Hi, thank you so much for having me here today. I so appreciate the invitation.
Welcome. And also we are joined with my co-host, Marian Herman, and both are from United States. Hi, Mar. Hi.
All
right, so today it's my pleasure to introduce our guest for today, Laura. Before joining the My Hero project as Education Outreach Director, Laura was a teacher for 25 years, mostly teaching elementary students. During her tenure as an educator, she integrated My Hero resources with her students. As the Education Outreach Director, Laura has shared lesson plans and resources she developed using My Hero resources in the teacher's room for all ages and mentor educators. She has presented at numerous global education conferences on the topic of character development using My Hero resources. Laura facilitates the My Hero Learning Circles and Heroes Are Everywhere project, a partnership with iEarn, bringing teachers and students throughout the world together to celebrate the efforts of those making a positive change in their community and the world. Welcome, Laura, once again to the show. Now, also allow me to introduce our co-host, our very own Marian Herman. It's a delight to co-host the show with Marian always. She is the founder of internationally respected Music with Mar, and she is from Florida, United States. She is also the moderator and the backbone of our global community. She has recently had the privilege of being a TEDx speaker, and I think the show is going live today. Am I correct, Marian? So it's a lucky day for us.
It's live, yeah.
It's already live. Wonderful. So we will share. I'm sure you have shared the link of the TEDx show on the group, on our community, and we all will benefit from the wonderful talk that you made on this wonderful global platform. All right, over to you, Marion, to take this forward.
Okay, thanks, Atul. Very sweet of you to mention all of that. I appreciate it. So, Laura, I became intrigued with your work when I was reading that you were doing the My Hero project. And I know I have it a little bit backwards in that you'll speak more about the project and how people can get involved. We did it at the end instead of at the beginning, just because I want people to hear about what it is that you do, and they will understand what the project is that way. And then at the end, let them know how they can get involved. I also like that you're a fellow Jersey girl, my home state, and I always love talking to people from back home. So anyway, getting started. Let's talk about values and why it's important. This is so near and dear to my heart. I write a lot of songs for children on the topic. I actually had a little girl that was lying all the time. So I wrote a song about tell the truth, and I asked her if she wanted a solo. Never said a word to her about her tendency to not be truthful. Just gave her a song to sing that would forever be a part of her life. And I think it might have worked a little bit, though I can never be sure. So why is it so important to exhibit? Exhibit, that means that you can't just talk about it, but you must be those things. And teach good habits before the age of 7.
It's so important to teach that good habits and character development in the very early ages, because that's setting the foundation for the person these children are going to become. Little children are sponges, and when they're very young, infancy 1 and 2, they're watching. They're watching what you're doing, and you have to, what you just said, you have to walk your talk. You have to be the role model for those children. As an infant, the infant just knows, or the babies just know that they're getting, what they need from their parents, and that's one way to show respect. The parents are showing respect to their child by fulfilling their needs. And as the children get a little bit older, you have to set some little boundaries to let them know what's appropriate behavior in a very loving way, as you can with little children. Let them know and model what's right. Show that you care about other people, that you take other people's feelings into consideration. But it's all about building that foundation, because without a foundation, we know buildings will fall down. And you need that foundation for children as they grow up to be able to hang new knowledge on, to be able to deal with situations as they come up, because they have that foundation that you need to lay down in the very early ages.
We have a comment that just came up from Rebecca, thank you, Rebecca, for always being such a loyal follower and one of our favorite speakers as well. Our job is to embody, not just explain. So our children have lived experiences, not just amorphous ideas.
So true. So true. You need to be that exemplar so that they're
why don't
living day to day.
Share that story that you told me before we went on the air
about
the orchard, about the orchard and the.
Oh, yes. Yes. So I have some very young nieces and nephews. And when my nephew was 4, I live where the fall is beautiful. You have, apple orchards, and they do all these great harvest games for children. So I took my nephew, and there was a candy cannon there, which is just shot candy out into the field, and the children could collect it. And my nephew happened to be in a great spot for that candy cannon, and he collected a lot of candy. But not everyone did. And he noticed that not everyone did, but he was young. He wasn't quite sure what to do about it. So we talked a little bit about how he would have felt if he wasn't in the right spot to collect all the candy, that all that candy hadn't fallen at his feet. And I asked him what he thought he should do. And he hesitated. But then he said, I think I should share. And he went over and shared his candy with these children. And he came back feeling good about it. You saw the smiles on those other children's faces, but that was a teachable moment. You need to look for those teachable moments within the life of your child or your students. They come up all the time, that's for sure.
Yes. And what would you consider the traits that are important for good character development? If you had to list some traits, I know sometimes parents don't stop and think about the traits that are not just naturally there, but they get developed, like empathy versus sympathy, and things like patriotism, loyalty. These are words that need to come up with children. So what are the ones My Hero project focuses on?
Well, the ones that you just shared are really good ones, but we focus a lot on kindness, on respect, on forgiveness. A lot of our work also has to do with appreciation for diversity. Children need to understand that not everyone is like them. They also have to understand it's okay to be themselves. Perseverance. You want the children to grow up so that they know that, okay, I couldn't do it the first time, which with children, it happens all the time, but just keep trying. You'll get it. You'll figure it out. And courage to do that, I think, is really important. I think the diversity part is almost most important right now, with children being so closed off from the rest of the world during coronavirus. They didn't have a lot of exposure to outside their own families at that time, especially the youngest. So I think little children notice differences. By research shows by 6 to 9 months, they'll notice when people are different than their own parents. It might make them nervous. So you need to teach children that it's okay to be different and that everyone is different. We're not all the same. As simple as looking at your own friends and noticing your hair color might be different, or your religions may be different. Right. And then your skin tones are different. Even if you're of the same race, your skin tone is not exactly the same. We don't come off a machine. And I think that that's an important thing. And My Hero really focuses on appreciation of diversity. We're a global website, so we have stories and films from all over the world. And we have these great animated films that show this for the youngest of children.
That's great. How do you take a concept like kindness, gratitude, and teach it to a child? Is there times when you sit and talk about it, or is most of this done through modeling or the videos?
I think it's done through a combination of all of that. You want to read little children's stories that include the kindness or the respect of showing to other people, and then talk about it afterwards. You want children to watch videos. A lot of our videos for the youngest children, and you understand, Marianne, how important it is, have to do with songs so that they can remember the words, and that's how they keep the words, and they refer to the words. But also, it's the modeling. It's pointing out when somebody was kind. Again, a teachable moment in the classroom or at home or out on the playground. If you as a parent or a teacher notice that someone is doing something that shows kindness towards someone else, to point it out and talk about what that was. Yes. Or when someone showed kindness to your child, to talk about how that made them feel and how nice that was of that other person to show kindness, and to make the correlation between doing that is making other people feel good, but at the same time makes you feel good when you walk away and someone smiled at you.
Oh, yeah. And some of this, often people believe you have to wait until the child's 4 or 5 or 6 before you start talking about these things, but it actually does start in infancy from 0 to 3. And I'm thinking a lot of it have to do with mirror neurons. Maybe, like I have songs about where I sing to the baby, 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 look at me. A smiling face, is what you see. I'm happy, and then it's different expressions. I know that's one way to do it, but I believe you had told me that you did have some work that you did with the 0 to 3 that was more specifically for the younger. And please take a moment to explain why that age is so moldable and does really get the concepts.
Well, those youngest children, they really do. They're kind of like sponges. They understand things when they keep getting it back to them. They notice what's going on. And for us, it's artwork and it's videos that are great for young children, but not the infants. The infants aren't going to get that, but they are going to get from their parents and caregivers that smiling and that love and that reassurance and that feeling of safety. And then after that, our videos really go to bright colors and music, so it catches the child's attention at a very young age. And we have a great video about can we be friends, and it all is about different animals coming together. So it could be one of the pairings is a polar bear and a black bear. Can you be friends? It's kind of showing you can be friends of things with different colors. Another is a herd of lions, and all these lions have square manes and one lion doesn't. Do you need to change to fit in? And you don't. And another is a difference between a penguin and a regular bird, because they're both birds, but their skill level is different as far as flying. And that just kind of introduces children to the differences, and that even though you're different, you can still be friends. And so that, that's important. And I think that's important for parents and caregivers and teachers to point out to the youngest.
Now, while you are telling this, there's one thing that is coming to my mind. See, the world in which we were born. So I was born almost some 45, 46 years back. Maybe you had born, and today
much earlier than that.
all right. So we, at that time, things did not exist. This internet and everything did not exist. So, and there are a lot of skills that are needed to grow in today's world now. And today's children, when they are born, in 2-3 years or 5 years back, we do not know what this world is going to be after 40 to 50 years or maybe 30 years, when they will actually make the most difference in their environment. I think these values is one of the very, very important 21st century, or I will say next century skill that is important, which will make a very big difference in their life. Because you can learn all these technology through gadgets, but this value is something that you can only learn from birth to 3 years from your parents, because you will watch them every moment from the time you are born, how your parents behave, what are the values and what are the behavior, or what is the kindness your parents show, or your family members or your caregivers show to others. And this is how the child will grasp these things from their caregivers or parents, and later on, through their classroom, through their teachers. It's very, very important that these skills, these value systems are going to make a very big difference when they grow up, when they become leaders and they lead organizations or anything. Maybe they are even if they are in a team, you need a leader for even a football team. So there are these values which are going to be really helpful. So it's very, very important to teach them these values. And you are giving some really nice examples that it can be taught to small children in so many ways. There is so much of material which is already available online now. And since you are working for an organization which does that, so it's really great.
Well, thank you.
it has to be a very, very important part of the curriculum in early years. This has to be a part of their curriculum and their teaching. This has to be taught, not just value, even lessons on etiquettes. Very, very important. That, a lot of things has to be taught to small children, and this is the age when they are in preschool or kindergarten, when they're, say 5 years, 6 years, or even earlier. Whatever you can teach them as early as 4 to 5 years, I think that will become a habit and they will follow it lifetime, because this is the time when they learn without any prejudice. They will learn whatever is shown and given to them. They don't question what you show them. They just take information as it is, without being tested, without uh, being judged on what their thoughts are, or people don't mind giving them the right information. All right.
That's why it's important to teach it before the logic connects to the emotion of the brain, because they are just following you. And then when they become a teenager and the logic and the emotion work together, they start to push back. And anything that we don't have in place before then is probably not going to be there. So, Lisa, Laura, I'm sorry about that. You shared some basic ideas, like with that we could watch the videos or read a book and talk about it, and also be good models. But what are some activities you can suggest to parents? Like, everybody says, yeah, teaching values is important. We need to teach them. It's the same thing when people say to me, yeah, I love that brain fact, but how do I implement it? So what are some activities that parents could do for children? And I know they'll be different from 0 to 3 versus 3 to 7.
Yeah.
Can you share that?
So I think, especially after, I think coronavirus has definitely thrown a wrench in this for the youngest children, because they haven't been able to do some of this. But I think having your children involved in, say, a play group at a very young age is a wonderful way to get children involved with interacting with other children and sharing and showing kindness in an authentic type of environment is important.
Great idea.
I think, the positive reinforcement that you can give children when they're doing the right thing. But I don't think you want to do it in isolation at all times. I think what you really need to do is to get your children out there so they get to experience some new things, even at the youngest age of, crawling around on the floor and learning that, you could interact with somebody, or you don't pull that toy away from that other child because that child's crying now. You might not realize the whole thing, but you did see somebody cry, or vice versa, that someone took something away from you. And I do think it's a lot of teachable moments and the modeling for the children 3 and under. But if you can get your kids out there so that they can interact with children that are different than they are outside, not just your family members, let's get them together with people that have different, maybe different cultures. When you can learn about a different culture. I was very lucky, as my very, very, very first friend when I was 1 happened to be a girl. My mom, and the picture showed, we were complete opposites. She had black hair, I had blonde hair. The only similarity, we were both girls in the same height. She was Jewish, I was Christian. We learned just by being friends about different cultures and to appreciate the fact that they're different holidays. It just opened the world for me. I celebrated holidays at her house. Santa always left a present under our tree for her because she didn't celebrate Christmas, but Santa wanted to give her a present because she was a good girl, and would leave it at our house. I think those experiences stay with you forever.
They do. Those are some good points. I like that you validated the importance of the play group. And it's also just in everyday occasions, like here in Florida, the big thing is Disney World, right? And you go there, or you go anywhere, to a park, to a zoo, and you're waiting in line. And you can see a lot of different behaviors. and to talk about the behaviors. You know, also when you're driving in the car and somebody cuts you off, how do you react?
Exactly. You know,
That's a very teachable moment. And also, if you see someone having trouble with bags in their arms and they're trying to open a door, what do? Do you just watch to see what will happen?
Right. Or do you step in?
Yeah.
Right?
And if you do step in, you tell your child what you're doing and why.
Exactly.
Look at that person. They're having trouble. There's too many bags. What do you think we could do? And if the child's old enough, they'll probably make a suggestion. And if they're not, the younger they are, the more words you have to use. Right? So
Yes.
yeah, I'm gonna go open the door for the person so that they can get through and not drop anything. We learn a lot of these things just from everyday experiences. I think that it's important to teach some of the values that are invisible or hard to explain. You know, like respect is a tough one. Forgiveness is really hard. I struggle with forgiveness. It's not until recently that I'm learning to handle that one better. And I think that patriotism is important, to feel like you belong to a group that you're proud of. And people think that patriotism is teaching my country's the best. And that's not what it is. It's just teaching pride in where you're from while teaching respect for where others are from.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point. That it's also teaching respect for where other people come from too. It's not just that you're the best, because with patriotism, what you're just saying. I like that analogy a lot.
Feel free to use it.
Okay. I will.
I'm trying to think of how to say this. I'm sure that people are thinking, oh wait, Rebecca saying something. Noticing and narrating everyday experiences is so empowering. When we make our thought process clear, we invite children to share their own thoughts and lessons. Rebecca is a wonderful therapist that helps parents and children work through different ideas and life in general. And I think that you and she probably have a lot in common. And she'd probably like to know more about the My Hero program. Like, how did it start? How do you get involved? What does it do? Someone else has posted, I'm interested. So
great.
What do we do? How do we get them involved? Where are they? I see that a tool did post the link in this feed so that people can link to the page.
Yes, there it is. Yes, that page is it's a web page that I curated with our very early childhood resources. But let me first tell you a little bit about My Hero. Over 25 years ago, 3 women in California didn't like the role models that were being presented to their young children. It was all about honoring celebrities who may be breaking the law in other ways. They wanted, so they started My Hero, and they started My Hero so that we could use art. They could use art and technology and stories, and they added short films after that to celebrate the best of humanity. And they wanted to shine a light on positive role models to help students of all ages realize their own potential to make positive change in the world. So that when students are older, and I'm just going to say this real quick, they can see young people who have done things and written stories or had films about their efforts to make a positive difference in the world. But for the youngest children, we really focus on diversity, individuality, respect, perseverance, determination through short films and art. And they use bright colors in the films to gain the children's attention, and songs to help them. So you can go and use this resource that they shared with films with students. You can also, we're always looking for input. Like if you use some of our films and decided, made a lesson out of it, we'd love to know what you did with it, because we would be adding that to our resources. What's on our website is brought in from other people. Everything on our website has been approved by a person. You can't just post something on our website. Everything has been approved. We don't promote hatred, or any other kind of prejudicial comments. It's all about positivity. And in the films that I put together for the youngest, we have a story about a chameleon. And chameleons change color, but the story has to do with the chameleon doesn't know who he should be. So every time he goes somewhere else, he's trying to fit in. And he finally gets the advice, and it's in a song, about be who you are, be true to yourself. Don't try to fit into someone else. And when you're yourself, you're the strongest version of a person. In kitty language, of course. And there's another film that has that's about, can we be friends? And it brings together opposites animals. So it might be one example is a polar bear and a black bear, but we're different colors. Can we be friends? Of course you can be friends. And there was a herd of lions, and the lions have different manes. Can you be friends if you don't look the same? Of course you can be friends. And how there's another film about a bird and a turtle. And can they be friends? Of course they can be friends, but this takes it to the next step, that friends help friends. So it's not just about friendship and being different. You can be friends. Then it goes to I'm a bird, you're scared of swimming, and you're a turtle. Let me figure out a way to help you with this. I'm a turtle, you're a bird, you're afraid of flying. Let me help you with this. And just kind of working together. And then in this, I have added different discussion topics, and with the MIG, Can We Be Friends? I added a book, The Color of Us. I don't know if you know that book.
I do not.
It's The Color of Us by, I'm going to go find what's The Color of Us by, it's a great book. It's about a little girl who goes, and it's by Karen Katz, The Color of Us. It's a girl who is noticing that people's skin colors are all different. And there's an activity at the end of it, but it goes with the whole film of we're being different, we can be friends, and that, the whole world is made of different colors, and it's just beautiful and individual. And then there's an activity too that you can do that I've put in with that. We also have some films about the ocean, and you think the ocean, how does that promote values? But it has to do with the beauty of the ocean, and then the perils of plastic in the ocean and pollution. And that film about the perils of plastic, there are no words in it. It's just a turtle animation, collecting some garbage and then getting it in the recycling can in a very sweet way that anybody can watch from any country. I share that internationally a lot with the teachers I work with of the youngest students in school, because their students don't understand English well enough.
Right, and so they're getting environmental awareness.
Right, environmental awareness and respecting the environment
will make them behave that way.
Yep, and that's what we want to do. That's what we're talking about. Setting the foundation, so that when the students get older, they know what to do, that they're not going to crumble, that they're going to be making the right decisions. But part of that as a parent, caregiver, or teacher is when there's litter on the ground, pick it up in front of the kids. Just pick it up. You're walking down. I was always surprised that teachers didn't always do that. I'd walk down the hallway and I'd see garbage that some child had dropped, a candy bar wrapper or something, and other teachers had walked right by it. No, pick it up. Throw it in the garbage can. Why not? Again, teachable moment, but teaching respect for our planet or where we live.
That's right.
And then we have some films too that have to do with determination and perseverance, that don't let someone tell you can't do that just because this happens to be in the film a bunny, bunnies don't do that. When I was growing up, people told me I couldn't do things because I was a girl. Yes, I could. I could play baseball with the boys. I just couldn't be on a baseball team because they didn't have that for girls. But don't tell me I can't play.
Right.
So I think that's really important to do that. And teachers can sign for and parents can also do it if you want to be part of your child's education. You can sign up for a free educator account. And then you'll have access to additional lesson plans, and everything on My Hero is free. That's really
great.
And you're welcome to, if you do a project with your students, to submit your project here. If you did something as a project to promote kindness, share it with us. Share it through either photographs or a film or a reflection, and let us share it with the world.
That's wonderful. Atul, do you have anything?
No, I was just thinking that more than small children, many adults also still need lessons on all these.
I can name a few right off the top of my head.
A lot of parents also need a lot of lessons on values and kindness and all these etiquettes. So I was just, this thought came to my mind. I was just thinking about it and smiling, and yes, I think that's it that I wanted to share. So, but I really feel that this teachable moment should start from home. It is parents, because when the child is born, they spend the first 2 to 3 years with the parents and the caregivers, whoever is with them. A lot of children learn these values from their parents. We have seen a huge difference when the children grow to, say, 4 to 5 years, in the way they talk and they behave. Many children will learn these from their parents and come to school. At the same time, many parents do not feel that they should teach. Maybe they themselves are quite ignorant, or they just don't care. So that's a huge difference, actually. So they must realize, if I have not practiced it at my adulthood, all these values, not necessarily I should pass on these bad habits to my next generation. I think that's something that some parents should really think, that at least I should not stop doing. Now I'm a parent.
That's right.
I should not pass on these things. So that's what I was thinking.
When they say that we learn more when we teach, and it's never too late to change. If a value system is already in place from long ago and you've forgotten about it, it's still there. And I know that my daughter was a good mirror for me, because as I was teaching her some things, I realized, wow, I have not been doing that. And so I readjusted me. And so when we're educating our children, we are also helping to refine ourselves. And so far as the environmental awareness, it's kind of hard, Laura, when we are teaching about recycling in schools and they go home and the parents don't recycle. And the reason, it's too hard. I mean, how hard can it be? I mean, I recycle, just little things to show your child. Like if I have a glass of water and my daughter didn't finish drinking it, she goes to the sink to pour it out. I say, we have a plant that would enjoy that water. And to just think everyday little experiences. So I just want, before we close, Laura, I want you to reiterate about how you can be a part of the program and that it doesn't cost any money. And also, where does the funding come from to keep this alive? Maybe someone that's watching might want to help out.
Oh, thank you. Yes. So My Hero is a not-for-profit. So our funding all comes from donations, and it comes from grants that we get. So you can go to myhero.com, and there is a donate button. We have had conversations about should we charge for some of this, and our conversations have been no, because this is too important, and teachers are spending way too much money of their own on other supplies right now. So you can get so nothing costs any participant money. You can register for a free education account. Now, this doesn't apply to the youngest of students because they're probably not going to be writing stories, but we've gotten artwork from kindergarten and first grade students. And as a teacher, your students can be submitting their artwork, and you can make a web page of it. So if you wanted to do artwork about kindness, or a kindness bulletin board in your classroom, or kindness notes, and you wanted to do something about it, we can share it with the world. I have this curated resource for the youngest children. I would say from ages 3 and up. It would be appropriate for the 3-year-olds who just enjoy the colors. But we would love to have your feedback. How are you using this? My email is laura@myheroproject.org, and feel free to email me at any time that you would like. I'll put that here, laura@myhero.org. And we love to get lesson plans from teachers who are using our resources, so that we could share that with other people and keep it going. We also have social emotional learning resources to help develop social self-awareness, self-management skills. We talked about responsibility, decision-making, and relationship skills. That's so important with all these values. So I'd love to work with any of you, and I do answer my emails. So
yes, you do. And I want to send you a couple of links to a couple of songs I've done that I think might fit in with what you do.
That would be great.
I love getting involved with things like this, and it's really not hard to teach. It really isn't. And I think parents get so caught up in cognitive things. Can they read? Can they write their names? Do they know their letters? And I always tell teachers, I want to know if they can smile at another child and say hello.
Yes.
I want to know if they are confident enough to say, will you play with me? Or understanding enough to see somebody reaching for something and going over and saying, I can reach that. Would you like me to get it for you?
Mm-hmm.
That's what's important, right, in these beginning years, because the learning is going to be so much easier when we have all these things in place. So, Laura, thank you for making this such a focal point of your life. I'm sure you've made a big difference on for a lot of people. And I think that you've got a few people here that have watched that are going to get in touch with you. And a lot of people watch at another time because of the global community, the time of day. Yes. We also did just have the spring ahead happen.
Yes, we did.
I'm confused about what time it is. And that is a factor in people like, oh, darn it, forgot the time change.
That's right.
So at least you didn't, and you're here with us at the right time. And I thank you so much. This is such an important topic.
I so appreciate you inviting me to come join you today. I really enjoyed talking about it. You're so right. It's so important to set the foundation of these values for the youngest of children so that they can go on to be positive role models themselves and successful in life.
Yes. So thank you. We have a short ending video here. Stay with us for a moment, Laura. Atul.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.